It's so cold tonight. I think it's time for a warm, toasty fire. That's nice.
Hi, Fernan. How are you doing? We're just getting started. Hey, Steve-O. Now, I've been knitting the past couple days. I'm starting to make some progress on this scarf, although it's not like super, I mean, it's my very first time knitting. It's like my very first. So it's not perfect. There's some big chunks missing. Like, cause I kind of screwed it up. So hopefully the second one will do better, but I want to just finish this one. I've gotten this far since yesterday. You started today? Well, that's good. Nice. Yeah, I'm glad that I inspired you to knit again. Devo. I know you said you hadn't done it in 30 years, right? You know, I'm just gonna keep at it. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. This first one's not doing so great. At least it's something I created. Like, I mean, it's something that's physically existing in the real world. And it's pretty therapeutic. I got a lot of stuff going on in my head all the time. And I really just want to, you know, I don't want to just let it destroy me. I want to, you know, I have a creative and constructive way to be able to work through a lot of those thoughts and feelings in a way that's productive instead of destructive. Yeah, we're not doing what the new Twitch TOS does. We're not doing that over here. Okay, I know that a lot of people are going crazy in the art category. We're not going to be drawing dicks or anything like that. We're just going to be knitting and talking like we always do. Except I don't always knit, I just started. But you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty much just like this every time I stream. Sometimes I'm more energetic. This is more of a relaxed ASMR style, I guess. That's just kind of how I feel. Like sometimes we're doing gaming, but either way, I do aim to create a space that's just chill. You know, even though obviously sometimes we're playing games and we get like worked up and in a good way or in a bad way, I don't know, but sometimes that's just what the vibe is. But at the end of the day, I still want to create like kind of a good vibe doesn't mean it has to be relaxed, but it's still a good vibe, if that makes any sense. Yes, I know that Twitter's exploding right now with all the Twitch TOS stuff. It's kind of funny. I saw some of the clips from Pay Money Wubby. I'm like, what a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive. I'm a part of history. I was here. I was here when Twitch allowed fully exposed venous dick drawings. Oh yeah, and Nim drew like a big vascular PP. Okay. And you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think if you want to draw a Starforge logo, go right ahead. But we're not, that doesn't mean you have to. Like, we're not doing that over here. I don't have to draw PPs or you know, tatas or booties. We don't need, I'm not really a good artist, let alone that kind of artist. But there are some really good artists, and I understand that Twitch TOS is not designed to just give people free reign. Some things are a little bit too sexual, and it just goes into the pornographic realm. Even though the human body is, you know, it's, I really do feel like people need to relax about that. Like, come on. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, stop shaming people's bodies, you know, and sexuality. But at the same time, I understand there's a time and place. But there are artists who do nude artwork that's not necessarily pornographic, and those artists are really talented. And you know, people have been painting nude bodies for like hundreds of years. I really think it's kind of messed up when people go in and they say, oh, you know, you go on a field trip with like, you know, like with students, and you go see artwork and there's like bare breasts in it or like a penis or something, and it's like they think that's pornography. It's like that's like the human body like portrayed in like art. Like, that's not pornography. I don't know what kind of porn they're watching. Probably the same people who think that, like, showing an ankle is sexual. Prudes. Prudes, all of them. Twitch 2OS has always just been a joke, honestly. I think it's just for the memes right now. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, it's I've pretty much just started stop taking it so seriously. Just pick up the popcorn and enjoy the show, man. From all angles, like from Twitch's angle, from the supporters angle, from the opponent's angle. Like, everything is just, it's like, that's content, man. Oh, hey, it's Ferna again. Oh, no, that's Fernan. Never mind. What's up, Fernan? What's up, Fern? Vern? We're just doing some knitting by the fireplace. Twice Slicer's convinced I'm going through my grandma arc. It's like, it's kind of ageist. He's saying only grandmas can knit? Jeez. It's really good for your brain. Especially if you're autistic like me. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Okay. I don't know. Sometimes, like, I do get, like... I'm very opinionated. I try not to get too worked up about what other people might think, because everybody... There's, like, a million different... You can't just get offended, because there's always somebody who's going to disagree with you. Especially on the internet. As we've found out. So I can't just, like... I'm setting myself up for failure if I need people to agree with me to be happy. But that being said, I do feel like it's just kind of frustrating when you're kind of more of a sexual positive person and you don't really feel any shame from, you know, being like kind of more like sexual. And it's like the world, it seems like, wants to treat you like you're some kind of criminal or something, even if it like doesn't always. It just kind of feels like that way sometimes. Like it feels like, I don't know, it's frustrating. I really just want to be a part of the change though. Like I get to be me, and there's nothing wrong with me, and people like me. I like me, my friends like me. What you see, I'm the real deal. What you see is what you get. Sure, I could be a hard cynic like you. At the end of the day, I don't really think there's anything really wrong going on. I think just internally, my brain is kind of a storm. Not everything is really going, like, nothing is really going on, like, objectively. Like, yeah, I mean, social media is a shit show, but, like, I think a lot of the time I just get really worked up. And there's, like, no reason to. And sometimes, like, sometimes I'll be getting upset. And I'll be kind of like observing myself from the inside, and I'm like, why am I acting like this? Like, why am I like this? And it's really frustrating. But I don't know. I hope that as time goes on, I can really start to make some new neural pathways from knitting. Because this is something new. And I'm finding it's really... I'm finding it to be really therapeutic. At the very least, it's something to keep my hands busy, which keeps my brain busy. I'm mean, I get a lot of intrusive thoughts from like all sorts of different types. Like all sorts of different types of intrusive thoughts. And it's like, I don't want those. I mean, they're intrusive for a reason. I just want to be myself. I just want to be the gentle, beautiful person I am. Not like all these intrusive thoughts that make me upset. In very different ways sometimes, but all in all, they're intrusive thoughts, and they don't align with who I am. Oh, I forgot to increase the counter. This is an estimate, because I think the first 10 or so I just kind of eyeballed because I wasn't keeping count. But I'm on row 24. Or I've done 24 rows. Yeah, sometimes the inside of my head is like a big giant firestorm. Just like endless torrents of just like madness. Like right now I'm just like, I'm struggling not to like scream. Like fighting every single core of my being to just not like start screaming. And there's like nothing that's like, there's really no reason to feel that way. It's just like, it's just a lot of, I mean, it's just autism. Like, it's just, I feel every single sensory input. And that includes like emotional senses. And like thoughts. And there's like not really a filter all the time. So doing something like this like kind of calms me down, because it keeps my hands busy. It's something to focus on. And it's creating a real thing into the world. Like this is I mean, it might not be that good, but like I'm creating a very real piece of fabric. Like I'm creating a scarf. Like it's a real thing that exists from my effort. So you know, every single stitch, it's like working through some inner turmoil, like trying to like just get my brain to focus on something else other than negative feelings. Like feelings of self-hatred, self-doubt. Just kind of keep working those needles. Every single stitch is just one step closer to repairing my brain. It's almost like it's like I'm actually stitching up and repairing my brain, like in a very physical way. And it really is happening. It's just not literally. But I mean, I am repairing my brain every time I do this. And I'm not broken, but it's a healing thing. Like I need my brain to work through all of this and create new neural pathways. And this morning when I started doing this, it was actually like automatic. Like I just started and it wasn't difficult. Like my grip wasn't that tight. I was just like kind of relaxed, like let everything be just loose. And I just kind of got faster. And I can see myself getting better, more accurate and faster. Oh yeah, fireplaces are pretty cool. It is kind of like an issue sometimes with like smoke. But if you have proper ventilation, that's not a big deal. As long as you're paying attention to the air quality warnings in your local area. You know, sometimes they have spare the air day and all that kind of stuff. When it's raining, you know, you're good to go. It's that then you won't contribute to poor air quality. You have a gas fireplace? I mean, I live in a trailer, so there's no fireplace. But I can load one up on YouTube and I have a heater next to me. I don't know if that counts. Let me count the ways. So do you think it was Morgue Pie or do you think it was Baldur's Gate 3 that sparked these changes? You don't know what I'm talking about? Twitch TOS is trending on Twitter. You're welcome, or I'm sorry, depending on how you feel about all that. I'm so happy for you, or I'm sorry to hear about your loss. Dear sir and or madam. Dear postal customer. It's written in hand, or it looks like it's written in hand. So that makes it personal. That means that this person cares about me. Oh, thank you, Lucow. Lucow 37. Thank you. Thank you, Huntsman 2K18. Welcome. I'm glad I took a really big dump right before the stream. Oh, we talked about those intrusive thoughts, Rebecca. I'm from here. I'm from California. Lived in this region in the Bay Area my whole life. Oh, it's just someone standing in front of the camera. Just kind of freaked me out. I thought it was a ghost. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. It's fine. I'm not scared of ghosts. I'm really kind of pushing myself to really appreciate just the moment to moment time parts of each day. Because for so long, I've been thinking about like long term, big picture things pretty much my whole life. But there's so much time in every day, and I keep squandering it with worries, anxieties, all those kind of things. And I think like learning how to knit, it's putting me in a connection with each moment. And I think I can begin to just kind of exist in that moment. And the person who made this fireplace video just keeps stepping in front of it. Like, I might need a different video. It's kind of distracting. Like, I can understand, like, I like these ASMR videos where it's like fireplace. Periodically they'll add a new log or something, but somebody walking in front of it is really distracting. learning how to let go, learning how to relax, learning how to kind of let things be the way they are, not needing to try to change everything, not needing to just let every single thought and feeling affect me. Doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion or I can't, have intellectual discussions. It's not about shutting down everything that makes me who I am, even though sometimes it feels like that's what it would be. It's about not letting negative things control you. That things are going to be okay, even when it seems like it's not. That time and time again, things have worked out in my life. And the things that are coming up in my life are very important, but I'm strong enough to get through it. I can do this. Just like learning how to knit. 2 days ago, I couldn't make a single knit stitch. Now I'm already just, getting row by row by row. It's not perfect, but it's actually happening. It's not a dream. There's tangible results from my action. Creating something in the world that didn't exist before. All these kind of feelings internally kind of gnawing at me. Feelings of inadequacy, feelings of being alone. These are normal feelings. Everyone feels them. But now is not the time for those things to happen. They will happen in their own time, in their own way. Hey Johnny Blondo, thanks for stopping by. Hello and good night. I imagine myself one day, I'm going to be in a situation, living in a more independent situation, where I could be just doing my thing. I'll have been through the surgery that I'm about to have. And there will be people in my life, people I don't even know who are going to be in my life. If I allow myself to actually get out of my comfort zone and go through the scary but rewarding experience of meeting new people. I imagine myself one day just having a person I trust over, potentially a partner in that independent space of mine, and just sitting with each other's company, where I could be knitting just like I am right now. And that person would be there, possibly to come over to comfort me, give me a tap on the shoulder to see if I want to talk. Like, hey, Rebecca, do you want to talk? Or do you want to just sit here together? Sometimes I do just want to sit quietly with somebody, not really talk about anything. Sometimes I really want to stop what I'm doing and give that person my undivided attention. And there is no right or wrong answer. I'm a very considerate person. I'm a very likable person. Those intrusive thoughts I feel about myself, they're not always true. I'm not perfect. Maybe some of those things are true some of the time. But no worse than anyone else. I deserve happy things in my life. I deserve good things. I love knitting. Yeah, YOLO. I do. I just started 2 days ago. YOLO Finance. I really love it. It helps my brain. It really kind of tickles my brain a lot in a kind of slightly uncomfortable way, but it's in a way that you can tell that something good is happening. Like, you know, if you start lifting weights, it's going to feel uncomfortable. But in order to get stronger, you have to start lifting those weights. It's a little different than if somebody just punches you. Like, that's uncomfortable and it hurts and it doesn't help you. But if you, you know, target a muscle in your body, as I'm targeting my neural pathways, you know, being neurodivergent with autism related issues, being on the autism spectrum means that my brain works a bit differently. And it doesn't mean I can't do certain things. It just means that I have to figure out a unique pathway towards every new thing than most people do. But it does mean I can still reach the same end point. But I have to do things like this to challenge myself to reach a new plateau. To just work and massage those neural pathways in my brain. Just discovering new areas. Hey, Prez. That's Tina from Bob's Burgers. Yeah, knitting, it's really challenging, but it's getting easier. And I'm not like the best. You see there's big holes pocked in it. But the next one will be better. And then the next one will be better. And then the next one after that. Before you know it, I could be starting up a whole YouTube channel about it. And an Etsy shop. And making custom designs. But I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm doing this for therapeutic reasons and to channel all my negative emotions into something positive. that is very physical, that creates a physical, tangible object that can exist outside of myself. Yeah, I'm feeling good, just a little contemplative. And I kind of have been a bit worked up lately. But I have to just work through it because I can't let things derail me. Every single thought, every single negative feeling. I can't let imagined doomsday scenarios that will never happen to upend my life. Like, I find myself getting worried about things that everyone in my corner and in my team, my therapist, everybody doesn't believe is true about me. I make accusations against myself that are so delusionally false that I have to just somehow figure out a way to break out of that. And I think stuff like knitting can really start to supercharge my brain, like jumpstart myself out of this delusional circle of thinking that I'm like a terrible person, or thinking that I'm broken, or thinking that there's something wrong with me, or that I'm somehow some like deranged lunatic. These aren't real. Like, yeah, the only people who believe that are actual deranged lunatics on the internet. But look at them. Like, we even just glance at their public social media profiles, and you can already tell exactly who those people are, and that you shouldn't listen to anything they have to say. Even if I was bad, you know, it's like, you know, I could point to them and they're infinitely worse, doing much more worse things a lot of the time that I've noticed. These people, I just stopped clicking on their profiles because I don't want to see what's going on in their head. They got some messed up thoughts. Yeah, alcohol or drugs, or, you know, even video games, which is perfectly fine. I do have video games. We've been doing World of Warcraft. I even got back into Final Fantasy 11 to play with my brother, who has 3 accounts. I haven't played since, like, I played for like an hour the other day with him. But, you know, we don't have to do everything in one day. We can't. It's just not possible. But, you know, just because I'm not playing today doesn't mean I quit. You know, I kind of need to take a break from video games for a few days every now and then. And knitting's a great replacement. And I really do want to create these scarves. I want to make something for the people I love for this Christmas. I've never done anything like that before. And I think now is a good time to start. Or I could be the one that people are like, wow, like, that's really thoughtful. That you made something for me. And this first one's going to my dad. Although be quiet, I don't want him to know. It's supposed to be a present. It's supposed to be a surprise. Yeah, it's so messed up though. It is what it is. It'll be whatever it is when it's finished. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. The next one's gonna be better. I'll give that one to another family member. Then I'll make another one. I mean, I have 10 days till Christmas Eve. Hopefully I can make them all by then if I work really hard. I'm not going to be streaming the whole time, so that, I did a lot off stream. And I think that's good too, because having my stream open is also a distraction. In a different way. It's fine. Like, I'll do it when I do it. It's nice to be able to have, like the ability, I can, if I really try, I can make a scarf as a Christmas gift for all the people I care about. If I don't make any excuses, if I really push myself. Yeah. Meeting new people. It's not quite the same, but, we're strangers here on the internet. Kind of gives me some perspective on how other people think, because not everybody on the internet is a deranged lunatic. I'd like to think. Because if everybody on the internet were a deranged lunatic, that would make me a deranged lunatic. And I don't want that to be true. Because I know that sometimes I feel like there's something wrong with me and that I'm broken and should be like locked away with a straitjacket somewhere, but that's not true. There's people way worse than me that don't even see any repercussions for it either, in a lot of cases. Like people who are just outright unhinged. But they do just fine. So why do I punish myself so much on so little? Like it's kind of messed up to punish myself at all about anything. But I punish myself over things that are A, like not even true, or B, definitely don't merit that kind of response, if anything. Like if there should be a response at all to any kind of like difference in how people think and work. Like, yeah, some opinions are like kind of objectively bad. There's some bad people on this planet, but I'm not one of them. At least I hope not. I mean, I think I would know. You have to do bad things to be a bad person, and I don't do bad things. I do good things. Like, I'm the total opposite of the things that I accuse myself of being. And I don't know where that delusion comes from. Maybe thinking about it is the wrong direction. Maybe just kind of what I'm doing right now with knitting. That's a step in the right direction. Just kind of move past these thoughts. Don't try to work through them. Because sometimes working through things can't be done, or it's not very productive. Like sometimes you just have to like kind of move along. Like, it's like this isn't where you need to be. Like you're not supposed to be here. Like you don't have to work through every single thought and emotion. Sometimes, there is a police line and you do not cross. And I should treat these like delusional and negative thoughts like a crime scene that I need to get out of their way. If I investigate, I start to get in the way of the investigation. I need to let the professionals do their job. I'm not helping by going in and messing everything up, because I'm not qualified. And, you know, in a literal sense, in like what's actually going on in my life, I have professional help, and I need to let them tell me if there's something wrong. Because so far, the only person who seems to be sane, you know, besides deranged lunatics on the internet, the only person who seems to think that there's anything wrong in my behavior is me. I keep criticizing myself and accusing myself of being some kind of monster, when that's like, couldn't be further from the truth. I know the kind of person I am. I'm not perfect. Far from it. But, you know, I've been becoming the kind of woman that I am proud to look at in the mirror and say beyond a shadow of a doubt that I respect who I've become. And I know that deep inside of my heart. That no matter what's happened in the past, good or bad, I'm only here in the present. And in the present, the only one who is accusing me and hurting me and all of that kind of bad stuff is me. Hey, Neat Dreams. I saw some of that that review that you made on YouTube. It was a little bit bonkers. I couldn't really follow it, but it kind of reminded me, you had this stuff in the background, kind of like Equals 3, Ray William Johnson kind of stuff. I think that's a good format. I think you should do more videos like that. It seemed pretty good. And you had like cutaways and stuff like that. Like there seemed to be like a good amount of jokes in it. I think it was a pretty good video. I didn't watch it all, I'm sorry. It wasn't really my kind of video. But I could tell it was a good video. Yeah, well, you're welcome. As Twice Slicer says, I'm going through my grandma arc. Hey. Why do grandmas get to be the only ones who get to have the monopoly on knitting? Uh, yeah, I've got a really get a good system down of consistency. If I want to meet my 10-day deadline for making all the scarves for Christmas. It's just a scarf. I'm really bad at this. This is the very first project I've ever done. This is the very first time I only learned how to do the knit stitch like yesterday or 2 days ago. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, I only learned the actual knit stitch yesterday. Like a couple days ago, I learned how to cast on, but I didn't learn how to do the actual stitch until yesterday morning. You have to learn to knitting. Yes, cake and ice cream. Yeah, you have to actually do it. It's one of those things that, yeah, you can watch videos about it, which I did in order to learn. But nothing will replace, you just learn by doing. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And you know, the more I do it, every now and then I can learn something new. There's plenty of videos on YouTube about knitting. A vibrant community. Very, very, very passionate community on the internet around knitting and crochet, which I only want to do one thing at a time. I don't want to do crochet as well when I'm just now learning how to knit. It is relaxing. It's really kind of massaging my brain a bit. At first it was really frustrating, but I was patient, and I just like kind of just went through the steps to learn. And now I'm like just kind of moving along. It's not perfect. There's big giant holes. And it's all like really uneven. But the next one should be better because I've learned from it. And I can't undo it. I can't like fix it. I mean, maybe I could, but I don't know how. But I'm just going to complete it and then learn from it and not do it next time and do it better next time. A lot of the stuff I get worked up about, it's like I feel like I'm not realizing how much of the thoughts that I get, like intrusive thoughts, are based on like they're symbolic for how I feel about the frustration and not being able to have control in my life. A lot of the times I have this negative intrusive thought that somehow I'm being punished and that this is my prison sentence of some sort. But that's just a metaphor. Like, you know, it's like that's how I feel. Like that's how I feel. That's what I feel is happening. Because that's like what it feels like inside my head. Feels like I'm being judged. Like it feels like someone gave me a life sentence. But I know it's not a life sentence. That I can overcome this and I can live a beautiful life. I can be happy. I can meet people and have people in my life. I'm free. I'm not being punished. I'm just in a situation that's not ideal, but good things are happening. Yeah, my bed is a mess, but I can't really do much about it. Kath? There's really not that much space here in the trailer. I can make my bed. That's better, I think. Okay, we've done 26. 26 rows. I think it's a normal feeling to have these like symbolic thoughts. I think a lot of people have like this like recurring dream of like being like in a life sentence in prison or something like that. It's common, at least in artwork, like TV shows and movies and stuff. Or like some kind of like Bart Simpson kind of thing. I'm just like, I think in cartoons. Like, I grew up with cartoons, and in cartoons they would always have imagery like that. It is cold outside. It's 2023. I don't know if that song is still problematic or not. I don't know if that was just in 2020. I don't know what the status on that is. I think everyone's talking about not safe for work artwork right now. I think that's the big Twitch thing right now. The actual Twitch meta. People talk about the meta. What about the discourse meta? That's a different kind of meta. It's like whatever all the streamers are talking about. Right now, if you look on Twitter, Twitch TOS is trending. Yeah, we need a knitting meta. I'm gonna start a new trend. Oh. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are, you know, doing more sexual content. I don't do that here on my stream. I do that in other ways. I don't really feel like I need to do that on Twitch. And I'm also on I'm pretty much retired from that until further notice elsewhere. I don't really feel like that's part of my stream right now, especially because I have like a big surgery I'm trying to get through, and I just can't really feel that way right now. I'm just too depressed, and that causes further depression because it's just a reminder of the fact that I haven't had surgery yet. And so I can't really make money right now. I got SSI to cover my bills and stuff, but it's more about career development and less about money. And since it's about career development, it's okay to take a break because I'm thinking long term. And I know a lot of people don't like to admit it, but age is not a huge, you know, age is not going to make or break me in this career that I'm pursuing. There's no excuse because there's women who are in their 60s and 70s and 80s who have had success in my industry. So I'm not really worried about age. I know it's like a natural thing. It's actually a sign of youth. Usually people who are actually young worry about aging. It's kind of a paradox. I mean, it's like an irony. Good early morning, y'all. What time is it where you're at? IMFL. It's like 5:15 p.m. here. I don't know what time it is for you. But good morning in any case. 2:15 a.m. So are you in the UK? Oh, Belgium? Oh. So you're in Sweden. If I don't get it right, I could just start singing the Animaniacs song. You're somewhere in Europe. Although apparently don't they have a public transit system that basically makes Europe one single state? Portugal. YOLO. Yeah, there's all sorts of people that might come into my stream. I need to not worry so much about what people think of me because there's always somebody out there who not only appreciates what I have to offer, but it's like people who align with my values. And I need to stop thinking that I need to conform to other people's values for them to appreciate me. That there's a lot more flexibility than I'm allowing. That just because I'm autistic and I think a little bit differently and that I'm a bit weird sometimes, I can still make something work in this life. And I think I'm going to do pretty well. And I'm going to be happy. And I'm going to build a career that's going to make me really happy. But in the meantime, I have to stay focused. I have to stay as healthy as possible if this surgery is going to get back on the schedule. I need to really be focused and just get through this. And eventually, even if I'm not perfect while I'm getting through it, if I get through it, then that doesn't really matter because it'll be over. I only have to do this once. I don't have to be perfect. Yeah, most streams are optimized for short attention span, but that's also I think there's a bias there because that's only a specific set of streamers and a specific audience, which I think is fine. If I were ever to be on a stream like that, I would adapt. I would like to, I'm pursuing career as a model and an actress. I would really like to, work with other people and be on different forms of entertainment and audition for things and do different types of content and really expand, my repertoire. And I like working with people. That's actually my biggest goal in life, is to be able to have options to work with as many different people as possible, with different styles, with different beliefs. In different genres. I love working with people. I love performance. I love art. I feel like that's humanity's purpose. You want to find the meaning of life. It's in collaboration to create things. And the value of things is so subjective that you can't possibly know if what you're doing has no value or not. You're not that omniscient. You can't possibly know what value that of what you create will be because as long as it exists, there's potential for it to have value. Even if it might not be seen as having value right when you create it, you don't know how it'll be perceived 100 years from now. What historical events might transpire that change how people see what you've created. And that can always change. There's always somebody who's going to find value from your work. And so that means our meaning in life is to create as much value as possible, because it'll improve the quality of life of those who come after us. And you could, I don't feel like there's some kind of obligation to do that, because you can do whatever you want. It's your life, and you get to decide how to live it. But I feel like there's a certain amount of us that really just, we don't want to leech. We want to be meaningful members of society. We want to leave something behind that will benefit people after we're gone. And I want to be one of those people. And yeah, there's always a small amount of vanity where you want to be recognized. You want recognition. You want financial and social success, like fame, fortune. Those are things people want. But besides that, I feel like you could have money and all that stuff, but if you don't have personal fulfillment and pride in what you do, and if you're not working with other people and experiencing all that life has to offer, then all the money in the world can't really make that life really special. Yeah, the goal of humanity is to create and survive together. It's hard when you don't see results for you. Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of faith. And, I've been rewatching all the Star Treks, and I finally made it to Enterprise. It's like, I've got faith of the heart in the opening song. Because it's been a long time getting from there to here. It's been a long road. If you want to see your dreams come true, a lot of that is parallel to what's happened in our lifetime. We got to the moon. We've gotten to Mars. We have spacecraft out past Pluto. That doesn't just happen. That takes the collaboration of people who have a vision that we don't have to limit our exploration just to this planet. That there's a whole universe out there. And people say, it'll never happen in your lifetime. Well, sometimes certain things do, but there's things that most of the people working at NASA will never see come to fruition. But, you just do what you can in your lifetime, even if you won't see the results. You might never see the results in your lifetime. There was the kind of I guess allegory or whatever of the cathedral stonemason. And it was talked about I've been listening to the audiobook Start With Why. I forgot the name of the author, but it's about business and how there's two different approaches that people take in business, and most people start with what and how. What they do and how they do it, the methods. But if that's all you focus on, it kind of turns things into a commodity. And, you kind of that's not going to really sustain itself. Eventually, you're going to run out of steam. But when you have a true purpose in life, and you know why you're doing what you're doing, You have a big vision for what life should be for you and for others. Like then all of your actions start to revolve around making that come true. And like with space travel, there, NASA has a vision, that we can make huge discoveries out there in space. Yeah, it's a cozy stream today. Because I need to be cozy. And even my thoughts aren't necessarily my thoughts. I feel like we take a lot of personal ownership of things as if we've created it. A lot of the times I don't really think that anything we come up with is that unique. I feel like we just kind of explore it in our own special way. And I'm just kind of excited about seeing what I can do to change the world. Right now, I don't really have a ton of influence. I might never be taken seriously by the masses, but I don't need to, appease the masses. I don't need everyone to agree with me. I don't need everyone to like me. I just need the people who will be most aligned with my values to want to learn from me or associate with me or work with me. That's a different kind of cause. I can't get everyone to like me. It's just not going to happen. And I don't need everyone to like me. I just need the right people to be behind me, to be supportive of what I want to do and what I want to put out into the world. And I have some ambition, I have a lot of things that make me who I am. I'm not limited. I try to be more focused in what I try to do, but like right now I'm not trying to do everything that I want. There's things that I want that I put on hold right now. Like, my modeling career is on hold until sometime after my surgery when I'm ready to get back into it. I'm not able to do that right now, and it would be very ineffective, so I'm doing other things because I am trying to be effective with my time and energy. And right now, now's the time to be reflective, to be, do things that will, benefit and go along with my therapy, stuff like knitting, relaxing, maintaining my health. Because right now I'm in a point where there is a very important surgery about to happen. And it's very likely that it'll be very successful. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure the doctor will feel confident to do the surgery. He's rarely had any complications, and the complications he's had were minor. That could be fixed with a revision. And even those were rare. And he's never had any of his patients lose the ability to orgasm. But that is a possibility, and I have to be emotionally ready for that. Because this is a huge change. This is a huge decision, and I can't go into it lightly. And so I have to be mentally prepared and strong, or I'm more likely to not get through it. Like it's like ironic. Like in order to get through it, I have to be prepared to not get through it. Because otherwise I'm going to be having a lot of undealt with anxieties. And if I need to be completely like focused on what I actually want out of life. This has been a transformative experience these past 4 years. And this is coming to a head. And I'm starting to feel like I'm discovering some things that very few people in life actually get to discover. And it's, hopefully something that I can end up sharing with the world as not necessarily just, the direct experience, but I hope that this experience this experience will last with me throughout the rest of my life, and it'll come out in ways that I can't anticipate. That how I approach this will determine the rest of my life. That I am a strong individual who can overcome anything, who can be strong enough to go through a significant bodily change that is so spiritual in essence. But it's so private that not many people will really understand. But hopefully I can learn how to channel that experience and share it with others in ways that they will understand, through artwork, through performances, through writing, speaking. Not necessarily one-to-one with the experience. My life story, I know it sometimes feels like it's really interesting, but it's actually not that interesting. Everybody has a story, and I find their stories way more interesting than mine. I'd rather hear about other people's experiences because I've already experienced mine. But then that's a weird statement, because it's like, well, somebody feels that way about me, so I kind of owe it to them, the people who want to hear about my experience. So it's like, you can't always be listening. At some point you do have to actually talk. They say, listen more. Well, sometimes you can't just always listen. In order to listen, there has to be a speaker. Yeah, something to prove, that can be a good motivation. It's not the only way to achieve things. Yeah, you have to prove it to yourself. You can't do it for others. You might be able to get success that way, I think. I don't think it's as black and white as people like to say. I do think it's definitely possible to achieve success for selfish reasons. Many people have done it. It doesn't mean that you're going to fail just because you don't have grand purpose or some, arbitrarily just cause or something like that. I feel like sometimes it's the only thing that matters is whether or not you do it or not. You either succeed or you don't. But I do feel like how you succeed can really matter, if to no one else but to yourself. Because, what if you never succeed? Can you still live with all your choices? If you were to know right now that you will never achieve success in your life, would you still be able to do it? And if the answer is no, then you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. Because obviously we can't know that. That's more of a hypothetical situation. A thought experiment or whatever. If somebody were to come up and tell you your entire life story, would you still live it? If someone said, this is how your life's going to go, this is what's going to happen, this is how you're going to die, etc. If somebody, literally some omniscient being, were able to tell you what's going to happen for the rest of your life, would you still live it? And if the answer is no, then you have to ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? Because you can know the outcomes of things But that doesn't mean you know the experience of it. It might be different than what you initially think it is. If somebody told you exactly what's going to happen in your life, you have no way of knowing what that actually means. Because it might seem terrifying. It might seem like that's horrible, but you don't have all the collective experience of the person who has reached that point. You don't know what it's like to be that person. That's a different person. That's you in the future. So, you can only live incrementally, day by day. And if you can spend each day getting closer to the person you want to be, then I don't really think there's anything that you could do differently. Because, so many people just give up all hope and they just kind of surrender. And, that's fine if that's, I'm not going to judge people for doing that. But, I'm not going to give up just because things are hard. I've done a lot of hard things and I've succeeded. The fact that I'm getting this surgery is mind-blowing, considering all the challenges I've had to face and I'm continuing to face. Now I'm facing my diabetes. That in order for this surgery to happen, it wasn't a given like I thought it was. I had a surgery date of November 27th. I thought everything was settled. I thought I would already have had the surgery by now. But things changed because my health was not where the doctor wanted it to be. He didn't feel comfortable performing the surgery, and he has full confidence in me. I might already be ready to go. But now things have changed, and I'm not going to speak on specific dates or anything, but now the situation has changed where it's going to be a couple months, even if I can schedule it right. I wouldn't be able to do it now. There's, the situation has changed. So now I have to, most likely it'll just line up perfectly. Everything should be fine. I just have a really hard time coping through this because I'm just so exhausted and I want to be at the finish line. But I'm going to get there, and when I'm there, there's going to be new challenges. Like entirely new challenges. And I'm going to face those too. And then I'm going to face the next ones. And so I need to stop living for, this is a big goal. Like this needs to happen. And I don't really feel like I can advance my life in any capacity. Even though obviously that's not true, but it's a real feeling. I feel completely stuck until this happens. And I don't like that feeling, which is why I'm getting it. Because I don't want to feel this way anymore. Because if I don't get this, I'm always going to feel like this perpetually for the rest of my life. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want to move forward. I want to experience new boundaries of existence. Of seeing what my experiences can be that not everyone is able to get to. Because of various financial reasons or social reasons or political reasons, that I am so lucky that I get to have this amazing, beautiful thing happen to me, that I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I'm not going to squander away. I'm going to achieve all the success that, this was holding me back from. And it's going to be scary, and it's going to be new, because new is scary. And yeah, there is a grievance. There is a grieving process. And it's important to recognize this, because if I don't recognize this, I can never fully appreciate what I'm changing. I am significantly changing a part of my body that has existed my whole life. And in order to go through this in a healthy way, I have to recognize this. This isn't something I can, obviously, I have every right to change this. I don't need to, I don't technically need to justify this. But I feel like I spiritually need to justify this. Not justification, necessarily. It's more of like, I need to, in order to fully experience and appreciate this transformation, I have to appreciate because the things that I'm going to lose forever. But I'm going to gain other things in their place, so it's fine. But I do have to recognize that even though it's a good thing that this is changing, that there are things that are permanently going to be gone. And I've come to terms with that a long time ago. And I continually just try to think about it, because it's like, I need to know this. I need to have that level of strength. If not technically, then spiritually. Which obviously all the doctors are okay with this. They know why I'm doing this. Everyone's approved it. I got multiple approval letters. Luckily, transgender medicine has, it's still hard to get the surgery, but they've streamlined the process, so you don't have to go through so much insane justification, because it's my body. I know what I need. And it's a long enough process that if this were the wrong thing, I would have backed out a long time ago. There's way too many things that you have to do to get here, to just be like, you don't just show up to the clinic and they do this. Like, this is a big deal. And a lot of people, understandably, are never going to understand that. And that's okay. I don't expect people to understand this. They might think this is the worst decision I've ever made in my life. But they're wrong. And I know they're wrong. And I don't need them to admit that they're right, that they're wrong. They can think they're right for the rest of their life. I don't really care. Because I care about myself. I care about my happiness. I care about what's going to give me a life worth living. About experiences that are beyond pleasure. It's beyond happiness. It's this deep, raw, spiritual need that nothing in life can replace. And if I don't pursue my spiritual needs, I can't know for certain that I'll be able to pursue them after death. So I need to do them now while I can. We don't know what happens when we die. And so as difficult as this is, and as misunderstood as it is by most people in society, I have to do this. In the same way that some people have to climb a mountain, even though it might kill them. Some people might, they'll be very serious about it, but it's still very dangerous to climb Mount Everest. I know it's kind of turned into a tourist thing, and tourists don't take mountain climbing seriously, and so many people die in Mount Everest. But there's people who aren't those people. There's people who survive it because they were prepared, because they knew that they could die. They didn't go into it lightly. They trained. They booked up. They hired people that would be with them to guarantee, and they got the right gear. They got the right guide. And it's still not guaranteed that they're going to survive the climb, Mount Everest, but, they need to do it. Yeah, I'm having a good night, Trav. There's certain people out there that, for very personal spiritual reasons, they need to do this. Whether it's a surgery like this, whether it's climbing a mountain, whether it's pursuing some crazy idea that everybody thinks is the wrong idea. They want to, publish a book, like a novel, or they want to, fight for legislation to change, like our good Martin Luther King Jr. did to expand voting rights for African Americans, for Black Americans, like what he was saying. We have, like this world where there's this like kind of promise that there is equality, but there's no equality in the actual sense. That if all the judges are white and male, there's no representation. That's what Martin Luther King Jr. was fighting for. And people told him to back down. And he lost his life for it. But he accomplished something that he knew he needed to do. It was a very personal, spiritual reason why he did what he did. And I think it's a very important thing to be able to do those things. Even when people think it's the wrong idea, which luckily this isn't some crazy idea. This is honestly, it's pretty routine. I mean, it's a monumental surgery, but at the same time, like, this is very well researched. It needs more research. Everything does, but this isn't an experimental surgery. Like, this has been done lots of times, like thousands of times. This isn't like 80% chance of death, like this is like, like maybe like at worst, like 1% chance of complications. So it's not like that. So it's not like I'm doing something really crazy. It's just people who don't get it. And no amount of research of transgender medicine seems to help them. But honestly, I can't do anything about that. I can talk about my experience and hopefully they will listen. But I can't guarantee that. All I can do is just keep going, in the hope that something I do will stick with somebody, somewhere. And at the very least, it better stick with me. Some people have to join the military to serve their country, even if everybody around them is like, that's dangerous. You shouldn't do that. That person knows that's what they need to do. Nobody else can make that decision for them. And we live in a society where we decided, kind of arbitrarily, but you have to have some number somewhere, that at a certain age, you're able to make those decisions. And until then, we have to be really careful. And unfortunately, people don't really understand that there are very careful guidelines with transgender medicine for people under 18. And they're being followed very carefully. But once you're 18, even people who are 18, people have problems with this surgery and stuff like this. Yeah, LASIK. I do need to get LASIK eventually. My vision really sucks. I got so used to it that when I got my eyes checked, I was like, holy shit. Like there's a grainy texture on the letter thing. You know, they have you look at the letters and numbers on the thing, and there was like grainy black dots on it I didn't even see until he did the lenses. Yeah, I had a friend get LASIK. He said it kind of was uncomfortable, but it was only like 5 minutes. And then he pretty much just like had to like lie down. Took like a few minutes of the doctor's time, and it completely transforms your vision. Like, that's crazy. It's kind of expensive. I mean, it's like what, like, but I mean, you only have to do it like, it can transform your vision, you know? It's like, that's a big investment. I mean, I'll eventually get it. I don't want to have to wear glasses all the time. I know that there's nothing unattractive about glasses, and it can actually be really attractive. But honestly, I like to be able to not have to wear glasses. And I don't really want to do contacts, although I could do it. I don't know, like I said, I'm getting into modeling and acting, and I might not always be able, and I'm definitely not going to always be able to have my glasses on during that. You know, and I would prefer to not have glasses on, so I would have to wear contacts if I want to see, or just be okay with blurry vision. It's fine. I'm pretty okay with like being able to see with blurry vision. But I mean, it's not good for your long term. Like, it can cause headaches and stuff like that. Oh, they shot your gum with lasers? Pew pew. That's crazy. I use a water flosser, although I haven't always remembered to use it. Although the past couple of days I have used it. So, you know, I have to be consistent. I need to floss every day. And then I brush, and I have a little cute little spoon that I use for my tongue. It's like got like a little kitty cat on it. I use that to scrape my tongue. Gotta keep everything nice and fresh and clean. And all the bacteria out of there that you can. So you don't develop problems. I do need to have my wisdom teeth removed. There's like a big cavity. Like, it's just like a big empty chamber in there. In one of those teeth, and like the one up here. But I chew gum every time I eat, so that stuff doesn't get stuck in it. And flossing, I can't use regular floss. I have to use a water flosser, so it's a good thing that I already use one. But if I use regular floss, it'll like break off and get stuck in there, and that can cause infections. And I can't get my wisdom teeth removed until after I've had the surgery, because if I have anything done like that before surgery, they're going to further delay the surgery. They want to make sure that I'm going into it completely healthy. Is that like some new burgeoning dental practice, like shooting people's gums with lasers? If so, that'd be cool if everybody could do that. Like, imagine if I could just put a device in my mouth and it would just completely clean my teeth and my gums. And I never had to brush or floss again. Just put that in your mouth like once a day or something. Not even once a day, like once a week. I mean, that's like a pipe dream. Honestly, just flossing. I need to, I'm doing so much stuff to be very disciplined already. I can also learn how to floss regularly. I can do this. I can do knitting. But there will be a time, and I know it feels like it's so far away, it feels like it's never going to happen, but this will definitely happen. This is reality. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go to the hospital. I'm going to be kind of, like excited, but I have to stay calm and keep my blood pressure all good and stuff. I'm going to get all set up. They're going to have me sign the waiver saying that I consent to the surgery, that this is the right surgery I'm getting. I'm going to go under. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to be all like there's going to be all this packing and stuff in there and bandages covering, and I'm going to have a catheter. But I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be kind of delirious from the anesthesia and from the pain meds. But I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have a vagina. This is real. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't a dream. I'm making this happen. And so I better believe it's going to happen. Because it's going to happen. And I am excited. So I want to be on the other side of this. Like I need this to happen in the first place, but besides that, I also just need to be done with this. Like I'm just so freaking driving me crazy. Like this is driving me crazy. I need to be done with this process, and the only way out is through. Because there's no way in hell I would ever be able to go through with canceling. And that's not even on my mind. Like it's just unheard of. That would be insane. That'd be like ordering a pizza and as soon as it gets there, you slam it on the ground for no reason. Like, why would you do that? Eat the fucking pizza. Like, you ordered a pizza for a reason. It's because you wanted to eat it. Oh, thanks for the follow, YOLO. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Thoughts of a mad woman rambling on about her surgery that nobody cares about. But her. But you know what? In order to get through all this, I have to be strong. In order to be strong, if that means I'm a little bit awkward on the internet in front of a few people while I'm working through these very difficult things, then so be it. Some people might find me cringe or boring or whatever. I mean, if the effect is that I'm successful, then I don't care. Well, thank you, Need Dreams. Yeah, I can ramble about whatever, but, yeah, this is what we have so far. It's starting to really I mean, it's kind of lopsided. But it's getting there. It's almost turning into like a beanie. I hope so. That would actually be kind of cool, but I didn't intend to do that. I'm trying to make a scarf. Like, it's kind of caving in on itself. If it's a beanie, then I'll just settle for it being a beanie. No, I think I think it'll still be a good scarf. This is 100% acrylic. It's really stretchy. I think also once I'm done, I need to really make sure to kind of settle in all the fibers, like stretch it out. I might even wash it. I'm not really sure how to do that. I mean, I know how to do that. You can wash it in warm water and tumble dry. It's just you can't. Acrylic has a low melting point, so you can't. And you can't bleach it. You have to tumble dry. Can't iron it. But it's really resilient, really flexible, and really warm and feels nice to the touch. I wish you guys could feel it. Feel it, chat. Feel it. It's almost a baby blanket. Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to be a scarf eventually, and I'm only this far. For a scarf, I have to like go like all the way over here at least. Like, this is not gonna. Like, I have a lot of work to do, and I want to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to make at least 6 of these, 7 if I want one for myself. And I have 2 different colors, and I might need to get more, but we'll see how much this takes. I'm gonna make the next one not as wide, because I'm just trying to make a scarf. I think I made this one extra wide. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the relaxing fireplace knitting stream. Tomorrow, if I'm not doing another knitting stream, I'm just, in these past couple of days, I've been taking a break from video games. I kind of just need to I just need a break. But we'll get back to World of Warcraft. I've been getting some good views on my, it's weird. I'm not really doing this for views, but I'm getting like some algorithm hits on World of Warcraft. Like, one of my streams had like 1,700 views, and then another had like 600. But I mean, then you have to, obviously, compared to my other streams, I doubt most people actually watch the whole VOD. Some of those are like 12 hours. But, compared to my other streams where they get like 30 or 40 or 50 views, my WoW streams are getting some views. That might be my thing. Who knows? I don't really know. Yeah, the operation's going to happen, the vaginoplasty. It's going to be probably a few months, unfortunately, but that's actually not that far away. I got the news that it was going to be delayed at the beginning of November, but then I started working really hard immediately. The doctor asked me to get my A1C down, which involves lowering your average blood glucose for diabetics. Like, I had to take more insulin. I started exercising even more than I already was. I started improving my diet even better than it already was, and it was pretty good. And I'm generally just trying to stay calm, keep a lower blood pressure, stay positive. Yeah, I've died a lot in Season of Discovery. Good thing it's not hardcore. Okay, well, stay safe, everybody, and I hope you have a good rest of your night. Bye-bye.